All right, I have to stop this nonsense. My wife says to me regularly, Randall, don't do that. You're going to confuse the viewer. So in case you wondered, when you saw the little lines going across the screen, he's lying, he'll fess up later. That was the truth. What I want to use this program for is to inoculate you. To inoculate you. And hopefully to give you some discernment. All right? I want you to take, well, you know what? Look at these pictures. Look at these images. What do these people have in common? Here's the Burger Court. Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Theodore Roosevelt. Barack Obama. Joseph Stalin. Winston Churchill. Mao Zedong. Well, there's several things that all of them have in common. First of all, and perhaps most importantly for this discussion, they look good. They're in a nice suit. They have a nice smile. Joseph Stalin. And you know what we should do? Let's do this. Roll that little clip, if you will, of Churchill, Roosevelt, and Stalin together. Look at them smiling. Look at them laughing together, carrying on. On the right-hand side of your screen, you've got one of the most tyrannical murderers in all of human history, and certainly in the last century. Scholars estimate that Stalin oversaw the brutal murder of 25 to 30 million people. And in case you don't get it, Stalin murdered more people under his regime, excuse me, than Adolf Hitler did under his. Stop and think about that. Stalin murdered more people than Hitler. All right? Now, Roosevelt was the father of American socialism, helped to pave the way for the U.S. government to become our caretaker from cradle to grave. Roosevelt still rules us from his grave, all right? And then, of course, you had Winston Churchill sitting there. And of the three of them, Churchill smiled the least. He was the most gruff. He was the most serious, the most somber. Now, I'm going to give you a quick history lesson, and there is a point to all of this. All right? You know what? I'll tell you the point up front, then I'll prove my point. The point is this. We have been seduced by articulate, handsome, or in the case of women, beautiful, smiling politicians and Supreme Court judges, to the point where we have lost our ability to discern good from evil when it comes to their policies. Not only are all those people that I showed you in the photographs handsome, well-dressed, sometimes smiling, but all of them have had an enormous impact on public policy, the law, what is permissible and what is illegal in this country. Do you realize right now it is a criminal act to try and save a baby from being murdered? If you know that a child is about to be murdered in the street and you intervene physically, you become a hero. But if you know that a child is being murdered in an abortion mill and you try to go in and physically intervene, you are arrested for a crime. Okay? So all of those people that I showed you, not with the exception of a couple of the good guys like Churchill, Teddy Roosevelt, all of them have perpetuated crimes against innocent people, against liberty, and against property. And they pulled it off because they were smiling, because they were laughing. The American ambassador to Russia wrote that when he met with Stalin, he felt like he was so endearing and so warm-hearted that, and he talked about his big brown eyes. He said that a small child would probably feel totally safe to just crawl up into his lap as if he were a grandfather. That's how seductive Stalin was. And by the time that footage was taken with Stalin, Roosevelt, and Churchill, Stalin had already murdered millions of Ukrainians from 1932 to 1933. Scholars estimate it could be 3 million, 5 million, 7 million. The high number was 10 million a few years ago. In other words, they don't even know how many millions of people Stalin murdered. But there he is laughing. There he is smiling. I've got to take a break. When we come back, how you and I need to learn to think. Okay? I'll quote you a Bible verse or two when I come back for those of you who are into the scriptures, like me. Oh, I know my Bible.
I recognize that this job can take a toll on you. I understand second term, need a burst of new energy, try some new things, and my team and I talked about it. We were willing to try anything, so we borrowed one of Michelle's tricks.